white and black, talks loud and well. Listen and see if you can hear her.
Meow.
My kitty cat, my kitty cat. She's even friendly with the rats.
Meow.
So be careful when you dig that grind up, and the water will smash your egg and blow you right in. You should look fresh and clean up. I know that. Island worth the breeze. Either way works for me.
Right this way. The show's starting. We never dreamed of starting without you.
Every haunted house needs a couple old rusty toys to give a little deathly atmosphere. I'm good for a quiet, creepy home. Or a really loud one! I scream, you scream. We'll all scream for ice cream. He's written with excellent manners.
My kitty cat, my kitty cat. She is my best buddy. She's white and black, talks loud and well. Listen and see if you can hear her. I like nuts with fat milk in the morning.
Meow.
Ooh.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, I am in my Halloween costume, Carnival Security. That is the main theme of our display this year, but you know me, I can't do just one theme. We've got, I think, 5 or 6 going on this year, starting with the entrance to our Halloween display. And every year we do like to do something a little bit different. I usually have an archway here, and I thought, what would make a better archway than a giant cat and walking through his legs? The inspiration actually came from this guy. I got him new this year. I really liked the way he looked with the bat wings, and that's what kind of inspired me to do creepy cats. But we also have a few other ones, such as this little guy, strategically positioned as if he's going to pounce at anybody who's actually daring to leave my display. You'll also notice I've got my two-headed rat on display here, popping out of my toxic barrel. I do like to incorporate my toxic barrels as the catalyst of what's going on in my displays. We also have an interesting song that kind of ties the whole display together, which you probably saw in the nighttime walkthrough. All right, let's go ahead and walk through the cat arch, passing our creepy rat that lights up when we do that. We do have a couple more cats on this side. They are going to be my Day of the Dead cats because we are now in the cemetery and we have a sort of storyline which we're going to get to later, and we'll take a look at those cats on the way back up. But we are going to, as I said, pass through the cemetery, and we're just going to come back to all of this. Let's go ahead and move on down and first take a look at the carnival that we discover after having taken a creepy shortcut through the cemetery. So obviously the focal point here is our giant jack-o'-lantern this year, but as you come through the archway, you're going to first encounter our ticket booth, which is going to introduce you to our funhouse theme. We do have our creepy clown here.
Go ahead, run away. I'll just catch up with you later in your nightmares.
So this was a ticket booth actually that came from my drive-in scene that I've done a few times in the past. We actually did a sort of reverse drive-in. We're going to take a look at that later. But opposite the ticket booth, we see the creepy Jack-in-the-Box clown, which I got this year. All of these clown animatronics are new this year because I have never done clowns before. I wasn't sure how I was going to like it. I was a little leery, but I think it turned out pretty well.
Every haunted house needs a couple old rusty toys to give a little deathly.
All right, you may recognize the centerpieces we made earlier this year. I've got my popcorn bucket full of eyeballs, my pumpkin candlestick, because we of course have our giant pumpkin that is the backdrop for our fun party area. We also have the pumpkin army off to the side, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, let's take a look around at some of the clowns we see in the display. Before we got the giant jack-o'-lantern, this guy was intending to be my focal point for the whole walk down the driveway. I always wanted him up here on the balcony. We had a little bit of a different lighting scheme going. We wanted these string lights actually over the whole party area. But since we don't want to block the view of the jack-o'-lantern, I've got them wrapped around the balcony railing here. It still gives you that carnival effect with the red and the white bulbs. You can see off on the side we have more of our toxic barrels that of course have caused our clowns to go crazy, including this guy, my ice cream clown, which goes perfectly with our inflatable ice cream truck, which unfortunately, if you watched my review on this, is much smaller than we anticipated. But I think the clown more than makes up for him in his creepiness.
Step right up, step right up. Come get your scoop. Creepy, creamy connections. Free all day. What's wrong, kid? Don't you like ice cream?
So the rest of our clowns are in the Funhouse. This is our Funhouse entrance inflatable that I got from Walmart many years ago, and I still get people wanting to buy it from me. It is a great piece, and it complements the sign that I made this year. Step right up. Every year I try and make one sort of handmade project, and this is our glow-in-the-dark sign. Are you ready to go on in? Let's go. Here inside the garage is where we're going to have our party buffet. Underneath are black light clowns on the backdrop of the red and white circus tent that I created out of dollar store tablecloths to make it feel like that circus tent to go with our circusy clowns. Starting with this tall, creepy guy who is leering over the child in the cotton candy bucket, looking like, I don't know, is he responsible? So he's not moving. I think some of the animatronics that I got this year used off Facebook Marketplace and maybe reached the end of their lifespan. I don't know, but even if he's not moving, he still looks pretty creepy by himself. Of course, we have Pennywise. There isn't a creepier clown than him. And I put a backdrop that I got from Party City this year just to make it glow, and he'll pop out amongst the other evil clowns. We also have our jester here, and he's got a stage background, which was actually what I had planned to do inside the garage. I was going to build a whole stage for him, as if that's what you were going to see when you entered the circus tent. But now he's just amongst his friends. Speaking of, we've got a couple more here right above the drinks area. These are just some cheap animatronics that I got online. Not too thrilled with them. They're more like filler clowns, but I like the way that they sort of glow under the black lights in the room, and that's going to bring in the toxic barrel theme. Again, we've got the one that's coming out of the toxic barrel, as if that is what has made them go crazy. As we leave the funhouse party area, you've got a couple of different options. If you're going to the front door, you're going to have to pass our pumpkin army. And if you want to leave, you're going back up through the creepy cemetery. Before we do that, let's check out the pumpkin army. We, of course, have our pumpkin patch prowler. He has been in my display almost every year because he is extremely creepy. The way he moves and lights up, it terrifies the little children, which makes my heart happy. We also have our 12-foot Inferno Pumpkin Reaper, and he has flames, which is going to be mimicked on the walls of the house, which you can't see in the daylight, but at night it's got a flame effect as if this whole pumpkin patch is burning. And then if you did make it actually to the front door, of course, you have to contend with our pumpkin twins. Fortunately, if you did want to leave my party, you are going to have to exit through the cemetery. So as we move up, you of course go through our archway. It is Boddy Creek Cemetery, which you may remember. My inside of the house is called Boddy Creek Manor. It's kind of a play on, of course, the creeks that we have here, my body that creaks, and then Mr. Boddy from Clue, which of course I collect Clue if you watch some of my other videos. But here in the cemetery, of course, you can see our skeletons have crashed through the cemetery gates because they see that their friends are getting dug up by the grave diggers here. So we got this guy new this year from Home Depot. Still don't love him. I really think his shovel needs to be a little lower so you could see his face better, but he works pretty well in this cemetery. I decided to kind of go easy this year putting out the stones. I didn't do too many. I think it's kind of creepier just putting out a smaller number of the nicer looking stones as opposed to the mass of all the styrofoam stones I do have in my basement. As we move up, we see the other grave digger here. Now, unfortunately, this guy's had a bit of a problem this year. He's sort of shorted out, so he doesn't talk, but he'll still light up. So I've got him moving his arm. He still looks pretty creepy, but he's dug up this guy here in the casket. Here we have the mausoleum. Now, I did want to put my flying crank ghost in here this year, which was one of the very first projects I ever did. So if you look in my past videos, you'll see that appears a lot, but I can't find him. I think I might have accidentally thrown him away this year. So we have put on a projection display, but you're not going to see it now. It's a little bit too late. What you will see over here, though, is the Grim Reaper, because as you've made your way through the cemetery, the skeletons have gotten you, and you are about to join the afterlife, thanks to this guy, and of course, our fun Grim Reaper arch that we got this year as well, because everyone loves walking through arches. That's what makes Halloween fun. And then we've got back to the cat zone. Here we're going to see our Day of the Dead cats that kind of greet us in the afterlife. So as we make our way out, again, we have our little black cat ready to pounce on you. So many years I've done a drive-in movie theater here on my parking pad at the end of the driveway. We'll set up a little screen here, show some old B-movie clips, and have this sign glowing in the dark. This was one of my projects. Like I said, I like to do a special art project every year, so I did that. And then the next year I did that ticket booth that's down at the end of the driveway, and it kind of made a nice drive-in theater. Well, this year we're doing it kind of reverse. You don't see the screen, you see the cars that are in the drive-in theater. Each one's got a couple of occupants. Let's go ahead and take a look. So we've got a couple of zombies in car number 1. Of course, I don't have enough cars to fill our drive-in movie theater, so we've got a few inflatables. The Ecto one is making another appearance. Our camper van, more creepy guys, and then I thought this was a cute little addition to our parking lot, and that's this little Boo Ghost in his kitty car. And then the other car. So you can't really see the kitty car from each direction. It's kind of a little joke as you pass by. As we make our way down the frontage of the house, we've got some spiders looking extra menacing. And they actually are. In Georgia, we have a spider invasion going on, which you can see giant webs throughout the yard. That is not a Halloween decoration, but these guys definitely complement those spiders, and they are very scary. For those people who are paying close attention, in the backgrounds, I've got a few things like our fishing skeleton man here, right over the koi pond. Here at the end of the yard is the area I actually redid a couple of different times. It started out as just Jack Skellington and a happy haunting sign and turned into my pirates. Now you may remember on the inside I did pirates as well. Outside is the pirate inflatables. So that's going to do it for our 2023 display. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun creating it, and we can't wait to do it again next year. So you're going to have to stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to see that. And that's going to do it for today. Before we go, I wanted to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. If you're interested in joining our Fright Club, be sure to check out a link to my Patreon page in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and happy haunting.